Well, hello. Welcome back to Note by Note. I'm Victor Perez. I will be your host for the next hour and a half, where you are just going to watch me comp, basically. Um, First of all, thank you guys for your support. It's amazing. I'm so glad that you guys are happy with what I'm doing because it's quite it's quite an adventure just to be here in front of you, just sharing my love for compositing. So thank you very much for all the support that you are demonstrating every week. It's nice to see familiar faces already in the chat. So hi, you guys, you can text in there. I'm just going to keep an eye as much as possible. Hi, Hugo. So yeah. Let's start. Okay. I cannot start without thanking, of course, Foundry for the support that they are giving another week to this this community that we are already a community here. We are more than 16,000 people subscribed to this channel. So thank you to every and each of you for making this journey amazing. So we are going to have a lot of things in here, but one of the most important is, of course, the giveaway. So last week we have another lucky winner. So who is the winner of last week giveaway of the Nuke Indie license? So it's Marcela Bragagnolo, I think, or Marcella Bragagnolo. I don't know how is the pronunciation. Maybe it wasn't any of those. But in any case, congratulations. You have won a new Indie license for 1 year. So Foundry will contact you to give you all the details of your prize. If you guys want to participate, of course, you have in here the link, and I'm going to put it also here on the chat. So here you are. So you can of course get in there, put your name, maybe you are going to be the lucky winner of this week. Okay, so thank you, Foundry, for your support, not just for the license that you are giving away, but for everything. I love these people, so thank you very much. Other ways to support me, if you want to support me, I mean, the best thing that you can do is, of course, subscribing to this channel and watching and being here and talk to the chat and demonstrating your love. That is what I appreciate the most. But I won't lie, if you invite me for a coffee, I'm not going to complain. So if you think that is interesting what I'm sharing and you want to demonstrate a bit of your support, just buy me a coffee. So you have in here, you have the link for the buy me a coffee, and also I'm going to put it in the chat in there. Here you are. So just, it's very simple, just whatever. You can give me one coffee, two coffees, or maybe one day we can have a coffee all together. So maybe it's going to be time to start arranging for an event, maybe here in London, if you guys are up to, or whatever. If I'm traveling this year, I'm going to be traveling a lot, and I'm going to a lot of places. Spain is going to be one of those, and I know many people from my home country is asking me. So yeah, no worries. As soon as I have dates, I will let you know. Hopefully this is going to be the year that I'm going to South America. I would love to go to South America. So let's make it happen. I will try. I will try to invent something. Maybe also SIGGRAPH Asia, that I know Hugo is going because he was posting about that on LinkedIn. Yeah, SIGGRAPH Asia is going to be a good one. Maybe I can. It's a good excuse maybe to have a beer with my friend Hugo. Even if we can have it here, but why not in there? I love SIGGRAPH. So yeah. I think it's time to start. Let's go. Let's move forward and let's start with this thing. So you're going to see my screen. Let me check. So I'm going to. is this screen. Here you are. So as you can see, I'm expanding a couple of files. I just put it to expand right before the streaming. These are the elements that I got last week from Action VFX, remember? So I even want to do this real time. Of course, it's real time-ish because I didn't do it, of course, during the live, but I started just something like 10 minutes before. Why? It's just because it's almost 90 gigabytes of the compression of elements. So I just didn't want you to see here, just watching here. So I started decompressing. So I have already the first set of elements that we are going to use for our comp. This is just one of them. This is 2K. And the rest is in here is already expanding. So I just want you to have the real experience of what is working with elements that you are buying. And another important thing that, of course, I like to do the things like nothing is prepared. Well, like nothing is prepared, but I just wanted you to know that you have to keep in mind that when you are buying a set of elements, they are going to come compressed like in this. So you are going to need time to decompress this. It's not a joke. It requires time and it requires, to be scheduled in there. Don't think that maybe, of course, if you get just one element, is something, but if you are just downloading a lot, it's going to take time just to put also all those elements and to get familiar. So that's why I will say that it's a good idea that you get exactly what you need. Don't go for anything else. Maybe you don't know about everything you are going to need. Well, just try at least to go more or less with a few options, but don't just go and buy the whole shop just because you are unsure of what you are going to do. So yeah, try to be precise, okay? This is just in order to be effective, or if not, just you need to take into account that you are going to need time for decompressing and creating your library. By the way, if you want a tool for getting your elements sorted, maybe you know Das Elements by my friend Jonas. So maybe I'm going to talk about that in another streaming. He's an amazing guy, and that tool is very helpful to help you catalog elements. If you have been around like me for quite a while, you will discover soon that you have terabytes of elements, and sometimes you have everything you need, but you have everything unsorted, so it's really difficult to find what you need, and that is very sad because it's like not having it. If you have it but you don't use it, it's the same result as not having it. So that's why you want to have things cataloged, and Das Elements is a very, very interesting thing, and maybe I will show you in a upcoming streaming. Okay, let's start as always by opening Nuke Indie. By the way, I still haven't received any comments from anybody just telling me about the limitations of Nuke Indie, and I'm very curious about that because I still haven't found any relevant limit. Well, I haven't found any limitation for what I'm doing, but if you guys are can confirm about the actual limitations. I mean, of course, the software has limitations. I'm not lying about that. But the thing is, like, are those limitations significant for your workflow? Are they preventing you? Have you tried Nuke Indie? You know that you can try for 30 days. Have a look. It's really cool. So every time that there are like reduced versions or versions with limitations, that is just, of course, an economic thing. You cannot expect to have the same product as Nuke X, for instance, or Nuke Studio. They are two different things. In here, what I feel is like this is enough for me. for what I need in a regular compositing needs. So yeah, if you have any comments about that, of course nobody likes to have limitations, but I guess you can spend by the difference of the price. You can go on holidays for a month somewhere if you don't need the software for all those tags. So yeah, leave me your comments in here. I'm very curious. So let's start by opening the script, and I'm going to save it at 7, which is the episode. This is the 7th episode, so we completed already a day of compositing for this. Beautiful. So nice. Let's start doing the things, and as I promised, I think today is a good day to start placing elements and start making this composition rich. I love live action elements, okay? Sometimes you can find, like in action VFX, you can find elements that are not live action, they are simulations, but they are really, really good. The people in there are cooking very, very good elements. They love the elements. And yeah, I love the elements too. So let's have a look at what we have in here. Let's go to the final theme, the final area. Oh yeah, this one, the element that we put the trick. I hope you like that little trick of the volume. Just to add a bit of light in there. It's very cute. Good. So, where are we going to put my elements? I think we are going to need something in here. It's too clear in there. Something in there for sure. Maybe on the top of the buildings, like in there. Just to make, if we put something like far, it's going to help me to understand the volumes, because your eye is going to identify that all the columns of smoke are going to be more or less the same big. So if you see them far, it's just going to increase the sense of scale of this. So let's start by bringing the elements. I just wanted to do something from scratch, working with the elements. Of course, I have one element that I used last week, but I'm going to do something that is really important. Right now, my elements are as I wanted, just for showcasing. I just put them in a drive, in an external drive, just because I don't want to have my computer clogged with all my, plenty of space. That is just the library. So I'm just having my library in a different drive. But I'm not going to work from a different drive, because this drive, even if it's a RAID, I think it's a rack, but is not the most effective for that. So when you have elements, you should have the elements in a fast drive, because we're going to access to that quite a lot, especially if you are going to comp many elements. So make sure the drive that you are using for storing, or at least for the working elements, is fast enough. I will say that if you have good set of drives inside your computer, that is good. Or if you have like an internal RAID, even better. If you whatever, you can even work from the outside driver. But what is the problem with this? If you have the drive that is slow, the whole comp is going to be slow, just because it's going to be waiting for your drive to load for every frame that particular theme. So that is something I'm not going to recommend that. So instead, what I will say is, like, we are going to have a look at the elements, okay? The elements are ProRes, okay? So we have different elements, different flavors, more or less, let's face it, is the same thing with different looks and different starting points. But right now, it's not like I need a special one more than another. So let's just go simple with the first one, okay? It's nice that it has been labeled, so it has like different styles in there. So it's going to tell me this is closed, for instance. You have others in here. Let's use the first one, just because why not? So for the purpose of this, I'm just going to place this smoke element into my desktop. I'm going to copy in here, desktop, okay? So it's going to be here. Here you are. Because it's on my local drive, and my local drive is quite good, it's going to load faster. Actually, everything that is in this comp is actually reading from there. Okay, so you have the element already here. So you can be very tempted to do, okay, let's do it. Let's work with this. Let's work with the video file. And I showed you last week that in order to create like the right color, I just doing this. So let's put raw, and I'm just going to make this color transformation. Okay, so last week we were just talking about just going into the slapping things in, but now I start to building an efficient script, and something that is never a good idea is to work with video files, because the way the video structure is created is just going to have like an access to many frames. I don't want to get very technical into that, but remember that I have a book about color management, image fundamentals, and in there there is a chapter that is dedicated to codecs. In there you are going to find out why it's never a good idea to get video files when you are doing comp. The name of the book is the Color Management Handbook for Visual Effects Artists. I didn't prepare for that, but actually, to be honest, I have, if we go to my subscribe, yeah, wow, it's an amazing transition that I have in order to ask you to subscribe. But no, it's because in the link tree, in this QR code, and in that link, you can access to all my links, my social media, and if you want to subscribe, I will be more than happy. But you are going to find in there the link to the book, so you can have a look at the book. And in there are many things that are related to this thing that we are talking about right now. So what I mean is, like, in order to decode the video sequence, you need to access to the keyframes, and then to recreate the movement interpolation, blah 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 blah. So there is a lot of work that Nuke or any other software needs to perform in order to extract that particular frame that you are watching at the moment. Of course, this is not a process that is super expensive, but you are actually processing things, and this is happening for every single frame. So instead of working with video sequences, I will suggest you to pre-render the elements into a sequence of files. That is going to be way more efficient. So if we are working with ACEs now that we are in here, so let's talk a bit of everything. What would be the best way of storing this? Well, I will say that once this is in the right color space, and I'm going to assume this is going to be the right color space, and this is going to be the right color space right after that, the best way will be here. This is going to be our base, okay? So I'm just going to create two different files. So I'm going to put this in here. Let's create ACES compliant EXRs. ACES compliant means that if you give away this element with your comp because someone else has to take over the element, make sure everybody has the license to use this element, first of all. So if you are sharing your elements, make sure you have the studio license to work with more users. But if you have the individual license, you should not share your elements, okay? Let's be fair with this. But if you have to share and you are in a studio and you have in the right environment to share the elements, what I will suggest is to use the ACES compliant. Okay, Nuke, of course, when we are working in the workspace in Nuke, the workspace is the linear CG of ACES, is a ACES CG, and I can show you that if we go to the properties. It will go here to color. We did this on the first episode of this streaming. In here you have the working space that is scene linear, which is ACES CG. Okay, so this is how things are linearly working inside there. But if you want to share an ACES element, there is a protocol you should respect, which is the ACES EXR ACES compliant. Okay. And that is the ACES, a certain color space that I'm going to show you. So how do you do that? Well, first of all, we are going to define the name, and I'm just going to my desktop. And in here, I'm going to put my folder, because always keep your elements in the folder. So I'm going to call this smoke plume. I'm not going with any fancy names. I'm just going to use the same original name. 34 2K, and that is going to be the name. So I'm going to just to add a little tag just to, for the sake of this streaming, ACES compliant EXR. Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste this, because that is going to be the name of the files. I always name files containing the folders with the same name for the files and the folder. That is very healthy. So you find your stuff. So the only difference is that in here, I'm going to add the frames. So 5 and 6, I'm just going to put 6. 4 is for shots, 6 is for elements. I mean, it's not a rule, it's just like I prefer to do it like that way. So here you are. So as soon as I put that name, this is of course recognizing that I am doing an EXR, which is really cool. But what I want to do now is to make sure this is ACES compliant. So there are 3 things you should do for this. The first one is to go to the compression and go for no compression. Why? Because ACES compliant are encoded without any compression at the present time of this screening for the people that maybe is watching the recording in the future, and maybe this is going to change, because it's likely to change in the near future. So maybe we are going to be allowed to have certain compression. But in any case, as soon as you tick in there, this is just going to be obscure. So you're not going to have any action to that. So just compression to known, write ACES compliant EXR, and then in the color space we are going to use the ACES interchange, which is in brackets in there, ACES 2065-1. That is the main color space for ACES. Is the AP0 primary, so it's like the biggest. It contains every color you can ever see. So yeah, that will be the same. This is because Nuke has been already set up for ACES interchange on there, but if you want to go to the source, it's just go to ACES, and this is the one. Okay, it's the same. We are just recording the same color space. So this is going to be easy to understand for everybody that this element is ACES compliant. So this is how you should write the elements. Okay, so now I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy that, the the reposition of the color space has been done in this OpenColor.io display node. So now in this, I'm just going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to grab that, and in here let's put straight, smoke, plume, 10763 2K. Now I'm going to add this tail. I'm going to copy. Of course, I don't need this for this, but I have already copied that. So now I just need to paste. See? Easy. So with this, I'm just going to create OpenEXRs for both elements. So I'm just going to remember, select, render selected. Oh, this is a nice one. I haven't thought about this because I'm rendering two different frame ranges, and I don't want to render frames that are not going to be on one of those sides. So let's see. This has 1507. Okay, so 1507 frames. Good. And this one has 979. So what we are going to do is, in the grid node, we are going to limit the range in here. So I'm going to put this. So with this, Nuke is just going to grade from this frame to that frame. Even if we put a bigger frame range, it's never going to render anything below 1 and anything above 979. So this is very helpful to do this kind of operation. So this is going to be 1507. So I'm going to limit the same. I wouldn't need it because this is going to be like the same fit. But so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do exactly that. So render selected grid nodes, and this is going to be from frame 1 to 1507. Okay, this is going to take a few minutes, and it's rendering. Of course, it's not doing any weird operations. It's just putting every frame in one file, which is very effective for us. And in the meantime, I can only recommend you to get into the giveaway. Okay, so we are still, you have 1 hour. We have exactly 1 hour. It's going to finish at 20:30 GMT. So get into that, and I'm going to put it also on here on the chat. So here you are. And why not? Just because, I mean, if you want, I can show you. It's just a boring progress bar. It's going to continue here, but it's going to be above. Why not to subscribe again? Because why not with the progress bar? Well, I can also self-promote, because why not? That is another cool thing. If you want me to help you with any of your compositings, or you want to improve or to learn something new, or I'm here also for just you, if you like, in a one-on-one. So yeah, you can book your sessions as you like. Okay, and if you want to get the jewel of the crown, here you are, the Master of Light. That is a course about photorealism for compositing. Is a course that I really love, and I'm offering a 50% discount that you have here with the promo code Node by Node. And I said, as far as Foundry is giving away licenses, I just need to give you away something. So you have this 50% discount, okay? So don't miss it. We are still 2 minutes in there. I told you this is completely real time live, and it's part of the theme. Again, I'm just, if you want to know the specs of my computer, I'm just working in this case. I just wanted to go with my laptop. I have a MacBook Pro M1. So yeah, it's just to showcase that you can comp with, you don't need big fancy stuff. Of course, if you have a fancy computer, it's much better, but it's everything about the artist. That is the thing. If you know, a good artist with a mediocre computer can do amazing things. And a bad artist, not even with the best computer, can craft something cool. So yeah, so at the end of the day, it's all up. This is like a brush. Let's face it, okay? A brush for the painter. So this is, we are in the last 50 seconds. So hello for the people that is joining the streaming, and they are saying hello in the chat. If you have any comments and questions or whatever, we have 26 seconds. Yeah, what can I say? Oh, I see. There is Carolina is in here, and she's finishing her show reel. I know. So are you planning to finish that show reel? Because I know it's the most difficult task for someone just to finish the first show reel, but you have to finish. We are all with you, and as soon as you finish, I want to see your link in here, because I want everybody to see that, and maybe even better, you should submit it to Hugo, Hugo's Deck. He has an amazing streaming, reviewing show reels. So be brave and send it there, because he's going to give you so much valuable feedback that is going to increase your quality as an artist. And I think Hugo is just doing a service to the industry, just reviewing, because he's so lovely. He's going to tell you everything that not the best the best recruiter in the world is going to tell you, because nobody is going to care that much just to give you the feedback in an honest way, because it's uncomfortable. Sometimes giving feedback is uncomfortable. So I admire Hugo just to be able just to be so greatly generous, just to tell you everything, even if it's uncomfortable. But very, very recommended on Thursdays. So don't miss Hugo's Desk. He's streaming every week, so you should be there. Now we have our renders ready. So let's have a look if this is working. Oh, Carolina is replying. So yeah, it's hard, but I'm trying to finish soon. You'll definitely see at the FMX. Oh, if you guys are going to FMX, I'll be there like every year. So I hope you say hi. So Carolina say, and yes, I'm finishing it with Hugo, of course. So I am using stuff from his course as well. Well, that is very good material. Hugo is offering, of course, to learn Nuke, courses on Nuke. I mean, he's one of the best, so come on. You should go. If you are interested in learning this, and you are here and see me and you want to get into visual effects, definitely go to Hugo's Desk. Hugo Guerra, you get subscribed to anything he does. Is good, and it's fun, which is even more important. So let's import those elements. So see, the first one is limit to from 1 to 979. Here you are. This is the one. And the other is a streak, smoke plume, is this one. Here you are. See? Now we are going to put the right color space. So this is something that is tricky. Nuke right now doesn't know that this is a ACES compliant EXR, even if you have metadata. If you want to see the metadata, you are going to see, for the people that is not familiar with the ACES compliant thing, you are going to see that the first line of the metadata, it says that in the EXR area of the metadata, you have ACES image container flag. And it says 1. This appears when you have an ACES compliant image. So this means this image has all the requisites for ACES compliant. If you want to know, again, the same thing. I cannot just make this presentation boring and bullet points and all of that. So if you want to see all the what makes an EXR to be ACES compliant, so it's going to be unified for all the workflows. In my book, the Color Management Handbook for Visual Effects Artists, you have in there all the instructions, all the information and workflows and many, many things. So yeah, if you want to know if a EXR is ACES compliant, this is the way. Again, it's a quotation from The Mandalorian, but yeah, this is the way. So yeah, the first line is the image container flag. The same happens with this one. Okay, we need to put in ACES interchange. Right now, Nuke doesn't have any tool to automatically the read node be in the ACES 2065-1. So remember, every time you are reading in Nuke an ACES compliant EXR, always make sure this is the color space. The input transform for the color space needs to be that. If it's not that, and you have the default ACES linear, that is going to be the wrong colorimetry. It's not that evident sometimes, depends on the color that you have on the screen. So make sure, just without, you don't need to trust anybody. Just put that in there. Just make sure that is in there. So that is the thing that I can say with ACES compliant. Okay, so we have that, but my element, and this element now is randomly accessing in the drive to every frame that you want, and that is just going to the frame, pick the frame, put it in there, without needing to calculate interpolation between keyframes or reading the keyframes. Of course, there are different ways of encoding the file, but it's much better that you get everything separated in here. So let's see if there is a real, well, not really in here, but when you are accumulating, it's just going to be more pressing. So I'm just going to put that in there, and I'm going to make it cross. So I'm going to disable, and I'm just going to substitute there. Is there any difference between those two? In theory, they don't have any difference, unless you are using in here something that is 32-bit. In here, this is a ACES, it's a 16-bit half float, which is a lot of data. You can be sure that every information from the camera is going to be in here. 32-bit is more like a technical for AOVs, for passes of CG, something like that. So 16, in the case of footage, is 16 linear is more than enough. So you don't have a waste of bits, because, remember, 32 is a lot more information, and we want to be efficient. Not only because of the storage, but also for the speed. Handling more information than we need is just useless. So let's put the elements. This one. Because I want to play with the scale, remember, I'm just going to freeze those. But maybe I can do something else. I'm going to play. Yeah, the movement, if I want to create something really, really big, the movement is a lot. So I will need some sort of slow down to retime, but the retime is going to be so we are going to play with the retime later. Right now, let's put these elements somewhere interesting, and I'm going to use a frame hold. The frame hold is going to be this frame is good. Let's place the element. I have my layout in here. Okay. This moment of silence. Yeah, it sounds weird when I'm just doing the job and not talking, but I'm here and listen. Okay. I don't know, what do you want me to say? Drink water. It's good for your health. Okay, so we have this in here. Yeah. Interesting position of the card. Why the card is in there? Okay. Let me see. What is... Oh, of course. Because it was oriented for the other elements. Good. So let's put this into the preview. Preview scene. And it's doing this because of the light. Position 2 points. Well, actually, I don't mind about the light that much right now. Let me see. I just want to make sure the pivot point is on the right area. So, okay, there and there. So when we are going to put the look, is pivoting from there. So it's not changing the position. If you move the pivot out of the, you know, the emitting area, it's just going to look weird. So, okay, let's see the element. It has no alpha right now. It's not pre-multiply. Was the original pre-multiplied? Oh, interesting. I forgot something. I forgot the alpha. So, in the meantime that I'm playing with that, I'm just going to make sure I have the alpha, because I haven't put the alpha in there, because this had no alpha, but I forgot that this has an alpha. So let's do that. So, you know, this time I'm going to do something different. I'm just going to render the same frame range, and because it's going to be limiting there, it's just going to render that. So you are going to see that when this arrives to the point, the frame 979, it's just going to skip the rest. What is the thing in here? And this is just for you to understand how Nuke is going to behave. Nuke is now averaging the time that it's taking for every single frame, and it's saying, okay, if I have 1,507 and every let's say I'm going to invent, every frame is taking right now 1 second, it's going to take 1,507 seconds. But that is not true, because it's actually going to render only 979. So the estimated time that is given in here is not real. It's just based on the statistics. So Nuke doesn't know that there are no frames that are going above that. But you should know. That's why the estimated time, the eta, is just sometimes it's not that accurate, but it's because you don't know how to read the numbers in there. So this is a thing to keep in mind. It's like you need to be ahead of the software. You just don't rely on a computer. Have you seen Terminator? What happens? So yeah, don't trust computers. So have a look. It's getting close to the number. You're going to see that as soon as it gets to 900, and it's just going to skip the rest. 79. Bling. So it was finishing not at 100%. It was finished at something like I wasn't watching the progress bar, but See that is important, that you understand how Nuke is behaving, and this happens for many other operations. Okay, it's just averaging time, so it's statistics. So okay, I have this now. I'm going to reload, and magically this can have the new alpha, because I was recording with the alpha. Yeah, okay. So this have an alpha. Yeah, it's not indicating the alpha in here because it was read from the beginning in there, and I don't like that. So as soon as I'm going to close Nuke, well, I'm not going to close it, but if you just kill this and you reload, you are going to see that now it's going to interpret the right alpha channel, because I find it confusing when it's not. Here you are. And remember, as always, ASIC compliant EXR, so ASIC 2065-1. Here you are, with my gorgeous alpha. Now, let's put it into context with this. Let's see, where is my element? That is in here. Again, it's not showcasing the image because of the lighting. I'm just going to get rid of the lighting for a sec. Here you are. Those three lights. Okay, I think they are clones. Yeah. So with this, I can have a taste. Not that I need it really, because I'm not going to, I mean, the 3D in here is just for layout, just to see where is that element in the 3D space. But I think it's nice just to have it. So I'm going to place this in here. I'm going to place there. Okay. Something like that. Okay, nice. Let's activate that. And this is going to take me to this scanline render. And I have that element in there. So, for the layout, did you know that by default Nuke has a deep image in there? So if we had deep image in my CG, we could just put this scanline render, you know, using the combine, using the deep, but in here we don't have it. But by default, every image that is coming out of the scanline render has the image. Right now, this is not going to be very helpful, I guess, because as soon as it's going to be in there, yeah, the element is in front. So we need to pre-process that somehow, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate that from the stream, and I'm going to get that element separate. So here you are. And this, I see that Istanbul is in the house right now. Mr. Manuel Rey Gonzalez is in here. So this element, by the way, look, see the element that is originally 2K, and this element right now is less than 1K. Well, it's not less than 1K, is it? Yeah, let's measure. So yeah, it's way less. It's way less than 1K. It's half a K. Yeah. So yeah, I have way more information that I need with a 2K. This is what I meant before. So you need to understand the resolution, okay? So let's put this into context. So we are going to place this element from here. Let's place it in. Let me see what we have in here. The element is already there because of course it's connected this way. So I'm going to detach and I'm going to make sure it's just coming behind. So this is my alpha. There is something in the sky already. Which is of course the Z. So where I'm going to put you? Yeah, I think it's going to be behind this. So with that, I'm going to put it there. Here. Yeah. And right now the element is on top because of course I'm putting the element over. So what I'm going to do, of course, I can do this around. I can just put that. But that is something I just can't. I cannot just put the main the main element in the A input. Is so grown. So instead of using that, I'm going to use the over with the inverted arrows, which is the under. So under. Oof, that is much better. Always keep the B input vertical, and your comp, this is like the spine of my comp. Everything in there. Because if I, for some reason, I need to deactivate the element, I can do it this way. If you have the other way around, something like this, over. If I do the same, wink, 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 is grown. So no, always be input. So let's put now under, here you are, and invert the arrows. By the way, to invert the arrows, Shift X. Okay? So sometimes I'm just going to give away hotkeys. Why not? Okay, so this is very cool. Is this element fulfilling what I need? Yeah, why not? So what can I do with this? Okay, let's play. Now it's time to play. Something like to give volume to the effects. Something that I do sometimes is I said if something is a plume is really big, something you are not going to notice in in 400 frames. You are not going to notice much movement. Okay, so I'm just going to leave them frozen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create the same element at different points. So I'm going to add this, and I'm going to put, for instance, this frame, which is looking like this. Maybe, no, just another one. Something like this already. And now I'm just going to put it over and move it. Okay? Now it's giving me extra thickness. And I can do the same with another frame. Of course, this can be done in 3D with cards, but if you do it here, it's just cheaper. Quick and dirty. Remember, it's just much better than overcomplicated and slow. So yeah, now this column is getting really interesting. Now I'm going to put another one in here with this, and this time this one is going to be on the other side. just to put a bit more volume. If you feel like they are very similar, just change the frame. Or other things you can do with this, I can put it like that. Okay, like this. And something that you can do that is very, very cheap. Mirror. Here you are. Beautiful. See? So, from this to this. Now, I know it's looking like an atomic bomb, but yeah, why not? Here you are. So, is it a bit over the top? Of course it is, but yeah, it's just I just wanted to show you. It's just really cool. Okay? So I'm just going to remove this one. That is not helping much because I want everything to be more focalized. And I think is good. Now I'm going to show you another way of doing relighting without doing relighting. So I'm going to do relighting of the of that element, but it's not relighting. I'm just grading. So I'm going to put this, and I'm just going to make sure the smoke is just going to dissipate. I put it there, and I'm just going to play with this. How can we make it dissipate? So let's play a bit, and for that we need to go at the end. We need to understand what's going on with all the processes that are in the middle. So I'm going to go for the alpha. So I'm going to deal with the visibility of this. So I'm going to remove a bit. See what is happening is blending with the background. So basically what this is doing, if I remove the whole thing, is everything is a plus operation in there. So when there is no alpha, it's just a plus. So that is going to look a bit fake. But if I remove just a tiny section, it's actually balancing enough in order to get dissipated into the sky. So that is one thing that you can do. Another thing that you can do is this. That is going to give me a nice opportunity to showcase this. So now this is going to be controlling the multiply. You know this, my friends, is wrong. Never use the same mask for two elements. That is wrong. You are going to have the edges that are going to behave in a strange way. Right now I cannot show you in this element because it's going to be really, really difficult to showcase, but I can showcase the difference in itself. Of course, another thing that in this case is not taking much care is like I'm handling the alpha in one and the RGB in the other. But as a rule of thumb, I can say that it's never a good idea to have the same mask for two nodes. So instead, I will go with this way. Key mix. So I'm going to place this and this. So I'm just going to place the B, which is the base, the original in there, and I'm going to remove the arrows from there. And now what is happening is like everything that is within this roto is going to be handled that way. So you are going to have the corrections of both using once the mask. This is something effective, so you are actually masking once, is keeping things tidy, and also in here you can stack any other nodes as we are going to do in a sec. Okay, so it's much better than just keeping masking things. So what is happening in here is that with the grade, if I'm removing the alpha, and I'm just going to do very drastically right now, I'm going to, this way. See, so there is no alpha in there. So what is happening is whatever is black is just going to be, nothing. Whatever is white is going to be adding a value. So there is a way that you can even play with the with this using the contrast, just to reduce the amount of volume you are going to have at the very end. So I'm going to show you. So it's not just about intensity. Look at this, looking horrible, because I just put that down to everything. So I'm going to use color correct, and I'm going to apply the alpha, the contrast. And you're going to see that the contrast for this, when you are working with the alpha, the contrast is very weird because it's based on perception. So the contrast that we want is, we already saw this, is the role of contrast that we can deal in an easiest way. So I'm just going to call it in here, role of contrast. Here you are, and I'm just going to play with the alpha. So let me put this back in there. So I'm going to increase the contrast, see the edges. I'm going to decrease the contrast. And now, of course, the contrast is going, because it's now gray in that area. So let me put this. It's gray. But if I take the center here or there, I can slightly reduce, see? And play with the elements as I like. Something that is going to help if you are doing this technique is just to keep the soft clip at the very high, at value 1. That way you can play with the contrast and you are not ever going to have the problem of the grays. So you are going to deal a lot with how thick is going to be the semi-transparent area of the element. Something like that. Let's play with this a bit so you can see. So in here, this is going to make the edges harder. And with this, it's going to faint a bit. Something like that. See? It's already blending much better. And now, with this, you can reduce overall, as I did before. If you play with the gamma, it's just going to do very similar thing of the contrast, but it's not the same because the edges are going to be handled different. The raw of contrast when you are playing with the soft clip is just easier because you are sure if it's originally black and white in the alpha, you are going to get black or white. It's never going to alter those values. So with this, we are actually changing the color. So with this, see? I'm just losing volume. Look at the difference. It's so much texture in there. So if you want to start creating the dissipation effect, I'm just going to remove that texture. And then I start fading. See what I mean? This is the diffusion effect. It's a way of integrating and just making the element itself into fading into the atmosphere without that super defined and crispy detail. That sometimes is really cool, but other times I just don't want that kind of level. Other things that you can do, of course, is, and this is like my favorite note, years of research, for using the blur. The blur is the best note ever invented. And that's it. Thank you very much. It has been a right decision just to go that way. No, actually, you can do this. You can play a bit with that and then mix down. Again, I'm just trying to lose a bit of the texture. So that way. So this way, we are just going to make a very thick core of smoke, and then it's going to fade into the atmosphere. So that is just going to change the nature of the smoke itself. Okay. Look, this is like a volcano, and this is more like a fire. Now, what is missing here? Of course, this needs to interact with light. So how are we going this time to create the interaction of light? Because I like to play with these kind of elements. I'm not that worried into the result of itself of this. I'm more into the experience, you know, of this script. It's very nice because I've been just playing around with many things and I love that. So what are we going to do with this? Well, we have this element that is rendering here. And I'm just going to do, I just need the alpha of this, not to be treated. So how can I get this alpha without being altered? Well, we can put it in a channel. So we are going to put this alpha, the original alpha of this element, we're going to put it into another channel. So we are going to do a shuffle. Is it, you know, the original shuffle copy thing that I don't, is that even available again? Shuffle copy? No, it's not necessary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate from the alpha and I'm going to place it in a new channel. I can create it, so I'm going to create it and I'm just going to call this smoke plume. Smoke plum. I just need one channel, so I'm just going to put in here matte. Okay, here you are. So this is going there. So now with this, here you are, new channel. Let's have a look. Here you are. It's in my red channel. Why? Because it's the first channel that I have in there. So with this, everything is going down in there, but let me see. See? Oh, they are not in there. Why? Well, nothing is happening in there. So what we are going to do is, in here also merges all. Here you are. So now is also not only doing the RGB, but also we are playing with all the channels together. So now everything that is in there, the only thing that I just want to make sure is, look, this blur. Remember that I told you, I think it was in the previous episode, that you should not use channels that you are not interested in changing. Right now, this blur is blurring all channels. So it's blurring that. Do I want that? I don't know, but if I'm not sure, don't do it. So just blur whatever you need. And actually in here, the only channels that I need are RGBA. So with this, there is no change when this goes through. If it was, by any chance, you cannot separate or whatever, just bypass by using a copy. But in here, I can. And this is going to be taken across the whole, here you are, until you get here. Okay. Do we need that in here? Well, maybe not. Maybe we can split that out at this very point. So what I need is just, I have the original alpha of this element that I'm going to use somehow in order to play with my background to recreate something that I'm not sure what is going to be right now. But it's time to make a bit of a space. So I'm going to click Control in here and I'm going to put all that a bit up. I will take care of the feng shui thing of my script a bit later, because right now I'm in the process of putting the nodes, so just need a bit of space to to play with that. So this is the element that I need to go to the RGBA. Here you are. Good. This is the smoke and the thing, but actually I want to play with the background. So I'm going to play, I need to recreate a light. Yeah, that is coming from here. Yeah, and I want to interact with that. So I need to have this path separated, and I'm going like a big time with this because I can even apply this with many other things. But here you are. The element is just creating a bit of interferences. Let me just, before I do anything else, I just want to make sure the alpha is cleaning here. It is. So maybe it's from another element. Okay, I'm not going to care. I don't want to break the process right now. I will search what is creating that thing. Let me just check. Yeah, it's from that element. Maybe is the thing that is pre-multiplied, and it wasn't. No. None of those. Okay, I will search for that later, as I said. So let's bring this element that I want to integrate with this background. And what we are going to do now is I'm going to exclude. I want this background without the element. So I'm going to stencil the other way around. Yeah. And I don't want to stencil the alpha. I want to stencil the original column. So I'm going to shuffle, put this in here. This one is going into all channels. Yeah, here you are. Perfect. Okay, so what I want to create now is a lighting effect just to make rays of light to pass in front of that, just to create beautiful God rays that are passing through this element. So how are we going to do this? Volume rays, for sure. Volume rays. I'm just going to call the volume rays in here. I know they are in the effects, but it's just too much. So this is coming from there. And this time, let's try to play with the mask. It's completely black. So erode the alpha. Yeah. So this is one way of eroding this, or this is of course going to create a little rim, or doing for the volumetric effect that I discussed the other day. This can work as well. But another thing that maybe is nicer that we can do is we can keep that, and instead of eroding the mask, I'm going to erode the application here. So I'm going to, and just for the purpose of seeing, I'm going this way. Let's play with Gaussian this way. So why? Because if I'm applying now the mask, as if right now the mask is limiting the effect to the edge. So now I'm going to remove the flickering, go there, play with this, and this, the difference with the other is this is going beyond the element. So with this, you can feel there is some sort of light that is having like a shadow in there and is being occluded. So when you put it on top of the element, that I can put it even here, we can place it on top, so it's going to go through everything, but let's just try to have a quick view in here, something like this. See, so you have a bit of interaction with the edges. I'm going to make it like very strong. See, so you're going to have the element and those tiny rays that are very, very cute. So this is like the principle. Of course, if we want to apply in a realistic way, what we need to do is, first of all, we need to take a lot of care of this erode. So instead of using the filter erode, I'm going to use another one that is interesting in this case. That is going to be the erode blur. The erode blur is just going to create an erosion and it's going to blur to the original edges of the image. Something like, okay, let's go again for the RGBA. See? So this is just making the shape to lose the details on the sides. And it's going to give me more, it's going to make those tiny whirlpools in the air more evident, as you can see here. See? So, if I put it like this, adding light, it's going to be quite weird, because it's like, what is that light coming from if there is no original light? So we can do something else. We can use this, instead of to create light, we can put shadow on the actual element and the background. So how are we going to do this in a way that is not going to complicate? So let's start by doing, for instance, this. I'm going to grade. I'm going to use this as a mask. I'm going to put this saturation because I want to get just the saturation effect. And I'm going to put in this grade the mask inverted. So if I do this, see, everything that is remaining is just that point. Of course, right now, this needs to be really, really strong in order to create some sort of effect. So I'm going to make it like really, really over the top. Because this is going to give me nice directionality. You are going to see that now, if I touch very little, let me put in the red, for instance. If I touch very, very little, it's going to affect a lot. See? So you can play with those effects. You can, again, this is a matte, so you can go gamma. By the way, you have these controls in the volume raise, but I just want to play in here. I prefer to do things visually because it's easier for me to understand. White, and here you are. Yeah, this is what I meant. So if I wanted to relight now this plate based on this kind of luminance effects, I can create with this, which is what I'm doing right now, a relighting matte. So with this, I'm generating a fake or an area of where I want the light to remain, because in the rest it's not going to remain. The only problem of showcasing this with this sky is that the sky is not HDR, HDRI, so you don't have much value, so it's just looking like a bit strange. But we can play a bit in order to bypass that. So what I want in here is just, remember that this is going to be like is at all effects, is just going to be the sunlight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the sun, and I'm going to show you how I create the sun, which is quite fun. I'm just going to put an ellipse. Let's make it big. I'm putting it there so I can have the column to occlude a bit the sun, so I can see through and see a bit of the sun. I love that. So now I'm just going to do a massive amount of fall off. Massive. 2000. So let's put output just so we see what we are doing. And we are going to put this, and I'm going to screen. Why? I don't want a plus, of course. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure meeting you. No, of course not. We can play. Of course, it's a pleasure meeting you, but it's not. I'm not leaving you like this. So I can play with the feather. This is now the point. See what is going on with the feather. It's still looking fake. In order to do the right thing, you need to go in a different way. You need to go logarithmic with this. So I'm just going to put this in there, and I'm just going to call the old school log to link. Log to link. I'm just going to reset the values like that. And I can put even a link to log at the end. So what I'm going to do now is this grade, the multiplication, see? Now it's not working in the right direction, so I just need to do the other way around. So link to log. Yeah, now. I think I went a bit too strong with this. So let's do something. I'm just going to remove that. Let's leave the log. And now I'm just going to apply the multiply. Let's play with this. Multiply. Yeah, finally. Changing that. And let's make the feather even bigger. Something like this. This is a good starting point. Now remember, it's a math. The maths can be evaluated only at the end. So with this, see, you are just using this light that is in there in order to justify this clearance. Remember that I never wanted to have the sky to be like that directional from there, but we can play. See? And we can increase at the end. In here, we can increase way more. Remember, white clamp or values are just going to be a bit over the top. So we are just going to remove a bit of the values. So this is just going to give me very extreme. So something like that. And once I have that, I can have, the counter effect of this. So I can go with this grade to increase. And with this, I'm having the right expansion. So I'm counterbalancing. I mean, I could even go procedural with this. I just don't want, but I'm just going to put this aside and I'm just going to copy, paste the same grade, and I'm just going to put the reverse. So in theory, this is doing the reverse of the other. The problem is, like, as I said, the original sky is not HDR, so you're going to have a bit of weird things going on with the value. So instead, just go by eye, because in any case, at the end, that is what matters. Okay, you needed to create, in any case, some sort of treatment for the look of the sky. I'm going to leave it like that. See? So that is going to give me a bit of directionality. It's a bit too much, but again, I don't mind much right now the elements. So what is missing in here is those rays are maybe not keeping in consideration the interaction of the right element. I mean, this is, again, I'm not that interested in just to having a great result right now. We are still laying out. Remember that even if we have been like 7 weeks, this is the equivalent of the morning of the second day of working on this. So yeah, maybe by the way, maybe I'm going to change the shot just because I don't want to bother you with the same thing. If you get bored, put it in the comments. If you want to know something or you want to check, I mean, I have plenty of things that I can feel your years of loneliness with this. I have plenty of things. And as you can see, I love it. So before to finish, I would like to chase that thing that is really bothering me about that shadow. I mean, that thing, that element, this thing. So where is that coming from? It's coming from the original. Let me see. It's not coming from the original. Oh yeah, of course it's coming from the original. There is value in there. I was looking at the alpha. There is value in there. So what can I fix in there? Probably is the conversion of the color space. So it's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to normalize that. So grade, black point, and this is the black point. Here you are. This should be the black point. So at this level, everything should be black. Is not black. Well, let me go there. Or if you prefer, remember that I love the pixel analyzer. Split vertical. Pixel analyzer. Here you go. So I can say full frame, give me the minimum value. Right now is 0, good. But in here, that was the value. So if I just bring this there, that is going to be completely normalized. As you can see, it's perfect, 0. 0. Okay, even if in here is just telling me pixel selection, here, 0. Mathematically perfect. So now, that was the thing, in its glory. Let me just resume this thing. Beautiful. So if we combine, for instance, in here, if you combine the relighting of the cloud itself and the environment light that this is casting, is going to be a really nice result. Of course, right now we don't have more time because it's already 1 minute late, but I started 2 minutes late, so we still have a bit of time. So yeah, this is a nice way of showcasing how to modify using the environments and play a bit with the elements. And once you have that, remember, this is ping pong. It's going back and forth. So I'm going to play a bit with the look of that, because of course this is going to erode a lot from the edges because there is so much light. Okay, and maybe I'm just going to make it less transparent that I don't like at this point, because it should be more silhouette because light is coming from behind. The last thing that I'm going to do, because I cannot avoid that, is like this is going to diffuse a lot of the light from the background. So something, which is the last part that I'm going to show you today, is this should be diffusing the light that is behind. So again, blur and that. So before the element gets into the sky, so sorry, I just put it in the ground. This is going to the element. I just need to go there. So before this go to the element, it needs to be occluding in terms of this. So I just need to, the light that is behind is just going to get diffused. So the blur is like at the perfect diffuser. Look at the difference. See, this is semi-transparent. This is density transparent. So now you are getting the density from behind and the lighting, and everything is interacting. And see, it's just a blur. The blur is the best way to solve things. Is so cute because it's going to give you even details in the smoke, because we are using, see this dark area, because we are using the original shape of the smoke. So that is actually helping a lot to profile that smoke. Right now we are going like super heavy, but if you remove, see, you're going to see a bit more details, whatever you want. You know, the diffusion is going to be related to the scale. So this is a very nice way of adding that element, and I feel the light right now. Remember, it's all about light. Quick and dirty. So just play with the nodes. The important is that compositing is happening in your mind. I tell you always this. Nuke is a translator of your ideas, but the ideas are in here. So just make sure everything that you want to do is, first of all, here, visualizing. And then you transform in nodes, and maybe I can help you with the nodes on that. But the ideas are all yours. You are the artist. So, okay, just I think that's enough. I have tortured your souls for an hour and a half. And I hope that you find this helpful and can help you with your work, and you enjoy that. At the end of the day, that's why we are artists, to enjoy and to have fun. So if you have any comments or anything to share, just leave it in the comments below. If you want to support me, maybe buy me a coffee. The giveaway now is closed, so next week I will tell you who was the lucky winner of this week. If you have suggestions for something you would like to see on this, just drop me a comment, or just go on my social media and drop me in there, stalk me, whatever you want. As far as we are just having fun, having compositing, that's all I like. Okay, so have a great week, and I hope to see you here next week, as always, at 7 p.m. GMT. So this has been Victor Perez. Thank you very much, and have a good one. Bye.